Hey everybody, thanks for checking out my latest video. Hey peeps. In this video, I'm going to go over the Week 11 NFL Main Slate and Showdown games for DraftKings Reignmakers. I should be doing a video tomorrow before the games start on a little more DFS oriented. Try to do a quick one on that. We'll be looking at some of the game totals, some of the sort of chalk lineups, and some bargains I think are out there in the DraftKings Reignmakers marketplace for cards right now. A little bit of news. They have a single entry contest going this week for momentum only cards, momentum set only. So you may want to divert some of yours to those because they look like they have a decent chance of getting prizes last time I looked, and decent prizes. They've also introduced this holiday set, very expensive packs. I think they're $300 each. They have flannel and sweater cards. It's fairly complicated, so if you are going to do it, research it, but they're having a contest with a $1 million first prize. But I feel like, I don't know, you're probably going to buy at least $2,000 worth of cards to get. It may even be more than that. So just check into that if you're a bigger player. But it's coming up here soon. The packs are on sale. Okay, so this week we have buys going on for Jacksonville, Miami, Seattle, and Tampa Bay. The Thursday night game, which already happened, was Tennessee, Green Bay. Sunday night is KC, LAC, projected very high scoring. KC's projected very high at 29 points, 52.5 on that game. Monday night game is San Francisco, Arizona. Kyler Murray, uncertain. People seem to be leaning that he won't play, but I have a feeling he might, but we'll see. 44 points. We saw some unpredictable quarterback stuff last week with Josh Allen and some others. San Francisco projected relatively high at 26. So the chalk lineup in the showdowns from the premium projection DFS site I'm using, the chalk lineup would basically be Mahomes with Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, and Kelsey. Now, it is unknown if they are playing, both those wide receivers or one. And there are several superstars in both these games, or there are superstars, so that affects it. There's 3 of them in that game alone. But if they are playing, that showdown projects at 71 points. My lineup isn't good enough I don't think to compete in that, so I'm putting those players into deeps. Also, I did that with Green Bay. Because I had sold 3 or 4 Aaron Rodgers, and I didn't really want to buy him back. So I didn't go ahead and enter that. I put it into the showdowns. The San Francisco, Arizona, the current chalk lineup on that they have is actually Connor, Hopkins, McCaffrey, and Samuel. Maybe I left off Garoppolo. Let me just double check. Yeah, I left off Garoppolo, sorry. That should actually be about 71 total, something like that. Mine came out about 64, so I did go ahead and enter that. That's actually a rare lineup too, which are a little easier to win. By the way, on that Tennessee Green Bay, on an actual DFS showdown on Reignmakers, I was very high up, about to win $50, and that last second, 50-yard bomb they threw for no reason took me from a $50 win all the way down to a $20 win. So that was really annoying. Basically cost me $30. As far as sales of cards and buys that I've done, on my last week's video, I showed I had sold a whole ton of cards and bought a decent amount, but not nearly as many as I sold. Some of my other ones have been getting, hit and bought. Mike Williams rare, Montgomery rare, CD Lamb rare for 70, Green Bay defense rare. Cobb I had, Daniel Jones, and my Lamb regular. So they're really scooping up the Lamb and Dak, which I had been buying and saying that these were good buys. I bought a Jamar Chase. Hopefully he'll come back soon. I bought a Mari Cooper, bought a Buffalo kicker, Sanders from Philly, and then a Foreman, Carolina. He's been good and cheap as it goes along. And those are sort of replacements, but you can see the net selling there. So on the main slate on Sunday, teams with the highest totals, these numbers will change and maybe slightly off, and they will change depending as we head into it. And the projections and all of this may change depending on injuries and whatnot. They may change it up into the last minute. But currently, Buffalo, Baltimore, Atlanta, and Philly are the only ones projected over 26 on the main slate. Buffalo really high now. Of course, aren't they? They're flying to Detroit for the game because they got snowed in. That's a stadium that gets high scores. However, is there going to be some kind of unsettling jet lag type thing for them? As far as I remember, when this has happened in the past, I don't think there was much effect actually on the team. Like, these are professionals, and they even go to Europe and stuff to play now. So we'll have to see. As far as the game totals, the three high ones are Cleveland Buffalo 50.5, Bears Atlanta at 49.5, and Dallas Minnesota at 48.5. So that one again has a little bit of uncertainty. That seems pretty high to me. I'd be a little cautious there as far as, like, especially over-under type things. I mean, you can stack games for Reignmakers and DFS. Bears Atlanta, there's a reason they have it that high. Of course, will the play calling be enough for Atlanta to get to that total? And Dallas Minnesota, that'll probably be a shootout, but it's hard to say. I would tend to think that's going to go over. Some of the other ones, the Jets, New England is extremely low at 37.5, but I would say probably a sucker bet when they have them that low. Rams, New Orleans, 39.5, very low. I mean, I feel like the Rams offense has to get a little better, but Cooper Kupp's out. So that's another to be cautious of, I guess. Philly, Indy, 45.5 seems low to me. Matt Ryan's back, and we'll see on that. The Detroit Giants seems low to me at 45, if I had to lean. As well as Cincinnati, Pittsburgh at 40, definitely seems low to me. So if I had to take, I would take the over on that. These I wouldn't take the under, wouldn't take the over on that. And that I would kind of lean to the over, but it's hard. I mean, not certain. Then the others, you have Washington, Houston, 40.5, Carolina, Baltimore, 42, Vegas, Denver, 42. I mean, I would probably lean to the under on that, over on that, but that's just the impulse. So the chalk lineups from the premium projection site, I basically did 5 unique chalk lineups here, but they are with stacks in them. So actually, like, this would be higher if you didn't stack them. But basically, the stacks came in with Hurts, Brown, and Smith, Allen, Diggs, and Davis, Fields and Mooney, Dak, and Lamb. And then with one superstar in each lineup. So Jackson, Hurts, Allen, Jefferson, Barkley. So Jackson, Mixon, St. Brown, McLaurin, Jacobs, Hurts, Kamara with the stack, and Boyd. Allen, Taylor, Diggs, Davis, and Cook. Fields, Stevenson, Jefferson, Mooney, and Pierce. Prescott, Barkley, Lamb, Higgins, and Pittman. So 2 Bengals there. And the totals on these with this setup was about 98, 96, 94, 89, 87. So a little lower than we've seen. But normally, like 1 or 2 over 100, and then 90, and by the time you get down to the 4th or 5th one, you are in the 80s, and that happens here. And again, usually there's like a 1.5 multiplier on these to like win contests or get high in contests, so you get up to 150, 160, 170. As far as my contests, my lineups, I want to white these out. I'm sorry. I meant to white those out. These are the ones I actually came up with, but these are different than what I had already put in. But my best rare was around a 94. Second best rare was around a 90, which is good. Both those. But then there is a big drop off to the third one at 75. So I may end up using more of those players in a deep to make a rare deep. On the cores, 94, but then a pretty big drop off again, 94, 87, 81. Little less depth there, maybe from selling players and also what players are on buys this week. Although I'm not using many in showdowns. So the chalk deep lineup, if you just use the showdown games only, the reason I like to look at that, it's usually got big name players, and then it's a kind of an example of what you could do with just those players. Now the Jones is from the Green Bay game. We already went. I think he got 14 points. But it's like Mahomes with Kelsey and the kicker. Connor from Arizona, Hopkins from Arizona, Debo and Ayuk. McCaffrey didn't quite make it because of Mahomes versus the other quarterbacks, and so Eckler and Herbert didn't make it either in this case, and the San Francisco D. Anyway, that projected about 145. So you need like 200 plus. There's like I think a 1.35 multiplier on these to get an idea of where it's going to be. So the rares I came up with were like 112 and 96, the ones I had built, and may need to update these with some of the changes that are going on, which aren't that high, especially that one. So that's why I might need to combine that with that one maybe to try to get at least two good rare deeps. The cores I had a 121, 124, and I can actually make a whole bunch more cores. So they're not too bad. Maybe just some of them try to get the $5 payout or the booster pack type thing, because I do have a lot more depth in the core and and kickers, defenses, tight ends, etc. Then I just did a quick eyeball of what I think are some bargains in the marketplace. These aren't really systematic, so to speak, and these are core, rare, and elite. So these are ones I think do your own research, of course, buy at your own risk. And these are low floor prices. So on quarterbacks, Jackson, Herbert, Prescott, and Murray, $9. It's a lot, and so you're gonna notice a lot of these players. Some of them are on buys this week, which is why they're cheaper. But that might be a good time to scoop them up because I'm looking at rest of season bargains. Lamar at 12, etc. On the rares, Jackson, Prescott, Burrow, Herbert, and Murray again. And I'm trying to pick guys that I think can win in a given week. And with quarterbacks, there's probably less of them in general. The Burrow at 40, because I already own like a couple of these. I might be buying that one. On the elite, Burrow at 420, Herbert at 355, Murray at 375. We're assuming he's going to get healthy soon and stay healthy somewhat. But that's the thing with all football players. Core running backs, there's a bunch between $7 and $10, sort of depending on your preference. On the superstars, you have Henry, Eckler, and Chubb. And on the non-superstars, Mixon, Taylor, Cook, Etienne, Jones, Walker, Kamara are all ones. I mean, I would lean towards those three, and Taylor particularly, if he's starting to come on. If you need non-superstar slots. On the rare, Henry, that's cheap when he's cheaper than Eckler and around the same price as Chubb. Mixon still fairly cheap. Pierce, Jones, Connor at 20. Stevenson, Kamara, kind of your own choice there. I mean, Henry as a superstar, of course, you can't be used on the elite. Connor at 20 looked pretty good to me. What the question is, will he come in a given week? I mean, he may not be as likely, but depends on what's going on with Arizona. On the elite, Eckler 370, Pierce 360, Jones 285, Chubb 305, Connor 180, and Pollard 300, depending on Zeke. I mean, the Aaron Jones at 285 and the Eckler, because these are a lot of the other ones are 500 and 600. That's really the point. You're saving $200, let's say. And are you getting? Is it close enough to the tier or close enough where they could have a week versus the other one? That's your judgment call, especially on that level. But we've seen Pollard come in, we've seen Chubb come in, we've seen Jones, I believe Pierce, Eckler. We've seen them have big weeks this year. Wide receivers, on the superstars, Tyreek Hill at 10 and Adams at 8. Chase coming back soon, hopefully at 8. Then a whole bunch sort of between 2 and 6. Some of this depends on injuries. Some of them are off this week, but like McLaurin, he's consistently been undervalued. Evans, Pittman, Metcalf and Lockett, Kirk, Watson on Green Bay should continue, in my view, to put up points. Mooney and Judy is hurt, but if he's healthy, same thing with Keenan Allen. And Judy and Mooney for $2. A lot of these guys, these are all 6 or less even. On the rares, Devontae Adams, cheap there. I own several of these because they are cheap. Chase at 45, McLaurin at 25, Evans 29, Pittman 26, Cooper 28. Ayuk 17, even with the showdown game coming up. Metcalf 25, Godwin 24, Kirk 22, Watson 18, Judy 10. And then on the elite, Tyreek at 500, I believe was a relative deal compared to the other superstars in the top ones, I believe. McLaurin 210, Evans 300, Pittman 240, Ayuk 165, Metcalf 250, Kirk 230, Lockett 230, Watson 185, Mooney 110, Judy 110. McLaurin's been putting up big numbers, and Pittman could be heading to that as well. And the others, you just take a look at him, and whether they can sustain with Heineke or whatnot. All right, thanks for checking out the video. Like I said, I'll be doing another one about the DFS games likely tomorrow morning sometime. Thanks for viewing, liking, commenting, subscribing. Check out my other video about SoRare, the Global Cup, World Cup competition they have. SoRare also has an NBA one they started that's very similar to Reignmakers. That's pretty fun, and actually it has things in it that sort of detriment to people just buying all the top players, which is good because SoRare football, aka soccer one, people do just buy all the top players. So you want some kind of strategy mechanism in them that can help the smaller fry. And the NBA one sort of does have that. It has an adjustable salary cap and things like that, where players' salaries adjust and you have to fit under a cap type thing. Also, I'm on Dapper. These are my usernames on there on the various if you want to tip me or gift me or whatever. And again, put any comments you have. Thanks for liking and subscribing, and good luck on your Reignmakers this week. And I'll be doing a little DFS information tomorrow. Thanks. Have a good one.